All right, so welcome to another video from the chart readers. We are going to take a seventh look at oil and energy. So the last time we did this video was actually about a week ago. We did this on 9/1. So as always, what are we going to do? We're going to look at the daily chart and the weekly chart. We'll use our moving averages as well as these white horizontal lines that I draw. These are support and resistance lines. And then we'll wind it out with our lower indicators later. So we will start with OXY and work our way through what looks like 8 tickers. So man, oil definitely has taken a bath since we've made this last video, right? So look, there's a lot of things to be seen, and hopefully you're starting to see them quicker if you've been watching these videos consistently, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days trading under this 8 moving average, right? Again, our 8 moving average is the green one. We lose the 20 shortly after, right? And look, where are we sitting? We're coming up on this line. We've definitely lost this channel. And hey, we're about 2 moving averages away from what looks like, where is our last one? From a drop to potentially down here, right? So again, as much as I always say use the lines for your buy, you should definitely be using these lines for your sells as well, right? So this right here would have easily been your sell in initial, notice for sure here on this hard confirmation, right? So, but again, I'm looking a little bit shorter term, right? So if you're long, hey, don't look at a short view. From there, again, what are we seeing down here? Nothing great, right? MACD, we like green over red. Clearly the green is below the red. And look, it just looks like it's sloping on down, right? While this red one's kind of staying up. RSI, you guys know I like the RSI a little bit more. Again, green is under the red. Never a good thing, right? I'll zoom in a little bit. But yeah, you don't even need to zoom in to see it. So what do I see just in general on Oxy? Look, we need to bounce somewhere right here, right? Unfortunately, the RSI is not that low yet. This thing can definitely get a little bit lower. Look, not that long ago, it got as low as 20, right? So will it drop this hard? I'm not necessarily saying yes, but we've been in a pretty tight channel. The lowest it's been in a while, let me try to get a little closer, is 44. So if this RSI gets closer to 44, I'd for sure start to worry, Looking at the weekly, so look, it seemed like we made a nice run. Clearly this line, what resistance number was? I'm sorry, I have to zoom out so much to see it. Jesus. Not that good. So this guy, 77.64. 77.64 was clearly a hard line, right? Because obviously all these moving averages are below us. But this is why I make these horizontal lines, right? They're manually drawn, but they are important. Hopefully I get them right? But knock on wood, I like to say I do. So again, Oxy on the weekly looks like it's about to lose the 8, might also lose the 20, but hey, I like clusters, right? When there's 2 relatively together as well as one of my lines, it should be a bounce point. And it's also, once you break one of those clusters, you get a nice little run as well, right? But if we lose it, you'll get another bad run, right? So it's kind of like a two-edged sword, right? So hopefully it goes the right way. But Oxy overall not looking too good. INDO, Indonesia Energy. So what are we looking at here? Almost the exact same thing, right? Basically a number of days under this 8 moving average, just lost the 20 again, right? You see the 20 is in orange. And now we're basically coming up between this red 50 moving average as well as this $7, 701, whatever, but $7 horizontal line that I've drawn, right? So again, look at this RSI, right? It's so tight. It's so tight. But again, I'm going to assume this is roughly 40. Oh, wow, that's a lot lower. So not that long ago, this thing was in the 20s. So this thing can definitely drop. That's not a good thing to see. It has been a little tight. What number is this one? This one's 44 again. That's where we got the 44 on the last one, right? So hey, hopefully this RSI doesn't do anything crazy. But again, so many days under the 8. If we do not bounce on this 50 up, I would be real worried we're going to lose the 50 and really probably come to this 588. This 588 seems like a little bit stronger of a line than this 630 would, in my opinion. But let's see what happens. Again, a lot of pressure on this 50 moving average right now, in all honesty. Oh man, look at this. Just 2 really bad weeks, right? It seemed like it had a nice 3-week run. Clearly, again, look, a cluster, right? When you have 2 moving averages, it's hard to break it. Hopefully when you have them down there, like we saw in the other charts, you can bounce off them, right? But clearly we failed and we're working our way back this last 2 weeks, right? So Indo, Kind of sad to see, right? Just never recovered from this failure up here a few days back. But let's go through the rest. CEI, Camber Energy, so back-to-back energies. All right, look, again, hopefully you see it really quickly, right? Number of days under the 8. People, rule number 1 is basically trade over the 8, right? It's just safer. It's nothing's guaranteed, but I would much rather gamble. There's no other word for it. I would much rather gamble with a little less risk than, you know, blindly hoping, right? So get over the 8. That's rule number 1. From there, just kind of look at the rest of the lines, right? Are there clusters? Are there nice gaps, right? Again, I hope as you're watching these videos, you're kind of getting the similarities, right? But look, again, just a lot of bad. We're clearly under. Do I have any lines under this? People, CEI is at all-time lows and continues going. So this down here is obviously technically all-time lows, but look, there's not a lot of life here, right? I'm gonna draw a new line on this guy, I guess, but shit, that's basically 2 days ago, right? How good of a line is that really? I'm actually a little embarrassed to draw that. I'm gonna go ahead and delete that. I mean, literally, I can't draw a line from yesterday, but yeah, we're trading under the 8. We're sitting in all-time low world. Not good at all. Not good at all. I'm not even gonna look. I'll look at the weekly. Why not? But just again, not good at all. Yeah, get over this line. Get over the 8, right? I'm literally not touching this thing until it gets to 8. And look, it's not even that big a run to the 8. So the risk isn't even that much worth it, in my opinion, right? It's about 10%. You guys know I like a good 10% gap, but I like a safer 10% gap than this. So yeah, weekly, I'm not liking. I understand the RSI is low, but trust me, it can get lower. It for sure can. So CEI, oh man. IMPP. So what are we looking at? A petroleum stock here, right? Same kind of story, right? Under the 8 on the daily, clearly under the 20 as well now, right? So the hundreds up here, are we just looking at nothings? Look at that too. So this line, if it breaks, this 35 cent has been a pretty important line right here. If it breaks though, this is going to drop pretty hard. Because again, look how this RSI has gotten to 12 not that long ago, less than a month ago, right? And again, we're trading under the 8 and the 20 for a number of days. If 35 cents is lost, I mean, there is a deep black hole. There are literally 36 more cents this thing can lose. And I promise you, you don't want to buy something and ask yourself, how much lower can it go? You want to buy something and say, oh my gosh, how much higher can it go, right? So IMPP, it is PU. I thought that would have been funnier. It's okay. I wasn't ready. Again, not that good on the weekly. Interesting enough that the MACD is the green is so much higher than the red. But again, I always say it. I do like the RSI more. I would take this what looks like red over green more seriously, I think, than this MACD. But man, CEI and IMPP are sitting in a really bad place. Interesting chart here. Okay, so what are we looking at? Uranium, okay? So what's happened? Really, you can see we've actually been trading around the 8 for the last few days, right? So all those other tickers were clearly trading under it. It does look like that this 460 line was a pretty hard line, right? Because you can see 2 wick tests, really 3 wick tests right here, right? I do like, there is a deep cluster here, right? There's 1, 2, 3, 4, as well as 2 horizontals that I drew. There's a lot of places that this can actually get caught from. And again, it's been sitting tight in this channel, right? This RSI is actually a little nice to see. It looks like it's peaking up a little bit, right? Nonetheless, what am I going to say? Look, I would feel much safer playing this at a break of 457, right? At the minimum, maybe a break over from the 8 to the 457 line. That's also not that bad a run either. But again, don't have to say too much here, right? Let's get it over the 8, but sitting a little better than the other ones. I will say that for sure. Again, I like this peaking RSI. I like that we've been basically just trading exactly on it. Obviously a little lower each day, don't get me wrong, but we're still within this 420 and green line, this area, yeah. So as long as we don't lose the 20, I think this could still hopefully turn something around. So let's take a look at the weekly. Interesting, that's actually not that bad a weekly if you look at it, right? So we're well over last week's candle still, right? I mean, in all honesty, if it gets this low, hell, even if it got to this $4 line, I would still call it a relatively bullish week. So I realize that you see a red candle here. Obviously, you want to see a number of greens, don't get me wrong, but we've broken all of them. We got a confirmation, and we're actually still trading up here, which is really nice to see. So UEC could be an interesting longer play, right? I don't see this being a daily thing, but maybe over the next week, right? A couple days in between, there could be some interesting looks to it. GEVO, G-E-V-O. Oh my goodness, that is not a good chart. Ah, man, I feel like you can tell when I see a chart live for the first time versus one that I knew was going to look bad, right? But GEVO looks real bad. Again, just couldn't break this cluster of moving averages and have just been doing nothing but trading under the 8 moving average for a while, right? Unfortunately, there's a lot more lines down, so this bad boy can still drop. But remember what I always say, right? Get over the 8 before we start playing. Interesting little RSI. It kind of seems like it wants to creep back up, but again, there's too much bad on this to even consider a play, right? And even if this got over the 8, in all honesty, this cluster up here also scares me, right? So I would know that even if we got over this, which isn't an easy cluster itself, right? There's a 510, sorry, there's a 850 right there. There's a 100 and a 20 right there. It's just $3. Like there's too much cluster going on. So GEVO looking ugly, and I don't like that I have so many more lines down here, right? So what are we looking at the weekly? Again, this is a really ugly weekly, right? Clearly failed the 20, lost the 8 last week, and are on our way to losing more. And hey, this RSI is not looking good, and it's been lower. Actually down here it's been lower. But yeah, it's been in this 20 world before. So GEVO looking horrible, actually. Sorry, GEVO. LIACF. Excuse me. Interesting day today. Oh my goodness, look at that. So look, we clearly have been hiccup there. We've clearly been trading under the 8 for a number of days. Today was a pretty monster day. Looks like it was a bounce off this 167 line. And it really did turn around the RSI. Again, am I buying this in the morning? I'm not, right? I need to get over the 8, and really, I'd want to break this line. And I also know that there's another set coming here, right? So is it better to break this than go, right? Because even if you confirm this, you might fail this. It's a little tighter than ideal, don't get me wrong. But hey, never look away from a 10% day, right? So if this opens positive in the morning, if we basically open above the 50, I'd be pretty interested. Let me see, did we actually close over the 50? So we are technically under the 50. If you look, we closed at 1.82000. The 50 is at 1.82153. So we are technically under the 50. We did not break it. So again, I need a little more confirmation before I'm going to put some money in. Nonetheless, I'm not looking away from a 10% day, right? This is something I'll probably look at tomorrow morning. Again, the weekly, it looked like it was about to lose this big cluster and work its way back down, in all honesty, maybe even to the 200. This was an important day, right? I mean, the week basically came from this day, right? So let's see if it sustains it or really if it loses it over the next couple days. But yeah, I would see what this looks like in the morning for sure. And then TMC, look, there is nothing wrong with slow and steady, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days trading over the 8. As long as we're over the 8, this is still in play, right? So do not let that fool you. Again, you're going to see a couple red days, but stay over the 8. That's rule number 1. And then, hey, if it can break some lines, you never know what it could do, right? So I do wish the RSI was a little better. It kind of looks like the green wants to peak over. Sorry, not pink. But nonetheless, stay over the 8. Stay over these other lines. Work your way up. That'd be a beautiful thing to see. So TMC and LIACF, again, I would wait to see what it looks like tomorrow if you're not in already. But yeah, both have the potential to keep going. So I hope you've enjoyed this review. And yeah, I'll keep making these daily. If you haven't already, please subscribe.